spooky season has begun at the Retro Video Store.
Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Video Store podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And that's my co-host, Neil.
I'm Neil. And who is here with a freshly attached bicep and a repaired labrum?
Let's dance, as Ash would say.
Don't think you can.
No.
Looks like you're having a dance party at your house with all the fucking flashing lights.
It's just the commercials in the background. I've got the Cowboys game going on. So when you guys inevitably start just nerding out about some shit that I don't care about, I can just stare off at the football game in the distance.
It's the undivided attention that you give the podcast. It impresses me so much. So David is back and he is convalescing. Tell us about your surgery. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. It was 2 weeks ago this past Thursday. They fixed the labrum. I guess sewed it back together, and then cut the bicep. I guess the major injury was the bicep tendon, so they cut that and then sewed it back into the bone on the shoulder and then cut it. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened. But I'm still in a little bit of pain. Like I just took some pain pills, so this should be fun, but not like last week where I was nauseous and in pain and pretty much just curled up in a ball in a recliner hoping to die.
Wow. Well, we're glad to have you back, and I'm glad you're healing up. You missed Sleepy Hollow, and you missed the Evil Dead.
I know.
So now we're doing Army of Darkness this week, which is the sequel to Evil Dead 2, and it's an awesome movie. But I have a feeling you've probably watched a lot, David. So, David, tell us what you've watched.
Well, so I've only actually watched. I watched Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, and Sleepy Hollow in preparation for all this because I wanted to join, and I like those movies. So you actually pick some movies that I enjoy when I have to get surgery, and then when I'm actually on the show, I have to do Halloween Resurrection. So, I
get
really
ready for next month.
So I've just watched a lot of football, but I did watch those three, and I've got a lot to add to these. Add to the show for today.
You look like you're just in pain there. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I just gotta. I'm sorry. I get through shooting occasionally, and that one hit me.
Neil, how about you? How's your week been?
I had 3 of the most boring days of my life sitting during jury selection. It was a double murder trial, and because of that, they packed like the audience. There were people packed into the jury box. We had to fill out this huge questionnaire. And the defense attorney asked the most rambling questions. He could not come out like with a straight question, and he would ask every single person. So he went through all 12 people that they seated up in the jury box, and then there's another 18 people in extra seats, not counting those of us in the audience that are supposed to be up for jury duty. And I listened to him say the same thing to every single person over and over and over and over. And then the DA would get up and ask like 2 questions and then like, okay, I want to get rid of this one, this one, this one, and this one. And they let a bunch of people go for cause. They had to let some people go because of hardship. I was there up until the very last minute of I think it was ended up being 4 days in total, but 3 days last week of jury selection.
Holy crap.
Absolutely nuts.
You didn't get
Did they let you go?
They what?
Did they let you go?
No, they did. But I got let go at the very last minute because they filled up all 12 jurors. I was up in the seats past the audience, and they were asking people questions because they needed to find 4 alternates. And then, they were like, well, do you know anybody in law enforcement? And I'm like, yeah. Like, who is it? I'm like, I literally play in a law enforcement, like, band. We play memorials. We play with the honor guard. We go to Washington, D.C. We do like, I hanging out with cops and retired cops all the damn time playing like obnoxious bagpipe music. And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. And then, they said, would this allow you to be non-biased. And I'm like looking at the dude and I'm like, no. Like that dude has gang tattoos on his face. No, he didn't get here by accident. And they're like, well, you're supposed to. And I'm like, yeah, but I got a bias, buddy. And it's called, I don't like criminals. So
like,
they told me to just sit right back down. They did their thing. They chose the 4 and then we got to go. It was so damn boring. So boring. The worst thing ever. That does not sound
like fun.
It was absolutely exhausting. There was this awesome kid, couldn't have been 18. She gets up and they said, what would be difficult for you? And she goes, well, I have ADHD and I have a hard time with this. And she goes, and I have a really hard time with because you're asking the same questions over and over. And the DA asks these questions. So she goes, what I'm guessing is that this and this happened, which is why the DA wanted to define what this particular meaning was. And then you are going to say that this happened. And that's probably going to be like the defense because they're going to try to prove this and this and this. And then the judge just basically looked and went like, yeah, you're cool. You can go now. And I was like, damn, if they'd have pulled me up that same day, because I could have said the exact same thing. It was an open book what they were trying to do.
Did you watch anything at least?
I watched Super Troopers today with Sammy and I because that movie's hilarious. Freaky with Vince Vaughn.
That's a good one.
Enjoyed that. And I can't remember the name of it. It's the guy wants to get married, but his family has a pact with Satan. So they have to hunt her to maintain.
It's not Your Next, is it?
No.
Came out a couple years ago, right?
Came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Her name was Weaving.
Yep. Samara Weaving. Yeah, Samara Weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Super violent.
Dave, you have something to say?
Look at that. I'm using the right tool for the job. I do have one go back. I did watch Office Space.
Classic.
Like within 24 or 48 hours of the surgery on, I don't know why, but I was like, I want to watch this. And I was on Oxy and I watched it. And then, I just want to say, so I bought the soundtrack on vinyl.
Nice.
Yeah. Still classic.
Very cool.
Still makes me laugh.
It is definitely classic. Cool.
Eric.
Nope, you're too needy. You're gonna have to do it without being asked. You're way too needy.
What did I watch this week? I was off all week, so I went up watching a lot of TV, movies, a lot of AMC Fear Fest. I watched a little bit of House of Wax. Watched part of Friday the 13th Part 2. Watched Halloween, the original, a couple of times on AMC. Started watching H20, which is this is really, really bad. And watched a lot of college football. I mean, an obscene amount of college football. But I will be very distracted because I ordered through Amazon the entire series of a Japanese TV show called Gatchaman from the 70s. And it's G-Force, better known as G-Force in the United States, Battle of the Planets. And it's 2,700 minutes of this of this TV show. And I watched the first episode today, and it was awesome. So it's a total blast from the past.
I have to say I am a little bit jealous that you own
I'll mail it to you when I'm done so you can watch it.
I showed it to Sammy, and she was like, no, you don't need that.
Well, I will send it. I'll email it to you so you can watch it, and then you can send it back to me.
Oh, I will watch the hell out of that.
It's pretty amazing.
I can just... Seeing it, that's all I can think of is that theme song. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, so good. So this is we are going to talk about Army of Darkness, but just as a child of the 70s and the early 80s, this was really our first exposure to Japanese animation.
And as a man-child of the 2000s.
Yes, and as a man-child of the 2000s. But it was our first exposure to Japanese animation. I used to love that show. But as kids, we got the Americanized version called Battle of the Planets, where they added the stupid Seven Zark 7 and the dog and the talking computer lady and all that kind of stuff. And they cut all the sweet, sweet violence and deaths out of the original run of the show. And I just watched the first episode, and people are dying left and right. there was no exposition. There was no like the origin story. It's like, these are 5 orphan kids. They're trained. They have special powers. They fly a cool freaking jet and they fight bad guys. That's it. And they get to it immediately.
I'm down.
Yeah, really, really good. And it looks really good. They're all cleaned up and for Blu-ray, and it looks really, really clear, and just it's a lot of fun. So if you're a nerd like me, it's a blast from the past that I'm looking forward to watching all the way through. It might take me a while. It's 105 episodes and a 3-part OVA and then a movie. So it's going to take me a bit.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
But this is spooky season, and I feel, and I must tell you, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not feeling very spooky. I have a combination of election anxiety and being busy, where I just haven't had the chance to really like absorb the the spooky season. I've been eating a ton of Halloween candy, which we do every year. We buy a big old bag of Halloween candy from Costco, and then we wind up eating half of it, so we have to go buy another one because we won't have enough candy for trick-or-treaters. So yeah, been killing Halloween candy left and right. Twix and 100 grand bars. They're so good. Amazing stuff. So how about you, David? Are you in the Halloween spirit?
Yeah, sort of. I'm getting there. Yeah, I think I'm going to watch some horror films, sit around. I'll be, pretty much just sitting in this house all next week. So yeah, I'm going to watch a lot of horror stuff. I'm with you. I got election, was it anxiety or thoughts, but I realized my neighbor called earlier to check on me and asked me if I had filled out my mail-in ballot, and she would submit it for me. And when I went out and got the mail the other day, I think I remember seeing this, and I thought it was junk mail, so I threw it in the trash. So, and I'm going to be, I don't know if I'll be able to vote because I'll be on the road for a training next week. So I don't know. You just made me think of that. My voice will not be heard now.
Well, thanks to the electoral college, your voice probably was not heard anyway.
Yeah, if you live in a swing state, maybe. But you do not live in a swing state.
Well, I usually just vote last time I voted was just to cancel somebody else's vote out. Just when they tell me, like,
you just send a picture to your dad. Here, Dad.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's not. I'm not a huge politics guy, but I know it's that time of the year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, Neil. How about you? Spooky season, spirit.
I don't know, man. It's like going to the store. They've already taken down all of the Halloween stuff, and they've already started putting up Christmas.
Yeah, that's driving me nuts. Christmas creep is real.
I figured just to be a dick, we bought a bunch of candy, like Tootsie Rolls. We're going to hand those out just because we're irritated.
Make a bunch of Tootsie Rolls?
Make a bunch of kids sad.
you're
Circus peanuts and Tootsie Rolls.
Yep.
Man.
Those orange wrapped Mary Jane candies. Those are always the worst.
I want some candy corn.
Candy corn is crap too. Somebody sent me a picture of those wax, it was like a wax kazoo or a wax harmonica that you would get that you would wind up eating or taking imprints of your teeth and just leaving sitting around somewhere. Those are gross too. Okay.
Absolutely vile.
Well, let's start. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just got one memory of Halloween was like living here in Utah. They do a lot of trunk or treat where they all go park in a parking lot and open their trunks. And yeah, it's lame. Yeah. But I just remember I miss the old days when we used to hold seances in the backyard around Halloween and have fake blood and all kinds of weird shit going on. And, Dad sitting there drinking, like, what are you guys doing? Or like, hey, walk by him and say, hey, Dad, we're going to go have a seance in the backyard. And you're carrying all this random shit with you. And he's like, whatever. He's not listening. He's just sitting there watching Fox News,
Dad, there's a demon.
Yeah. You're like playing Ouija board in the back closet or something, trying to summon all that. I miss it.
It does not surprise me that you played with a Ouija board as a kid.
Yeah,
You and your brother, your sisters.
Yep.
It checks out. We did play with a Ouija board too. My sister and I and my aunt and my cousin. We would play with the Ouija board, and that was always fun. Messing with the unknown. Neil, I saw your Halloween cookies that are pretty sweet.
Yeah, Sammy made. Actually, I really liked them. She thought they were too sweet. She wanted to do something as a family, so like Christmas cookies we always do. So she thought we'd do Halloween cookies. So I did like Michael Myers cookies. I did Jason Voorhees cookies. Oh fuck! I didn't send that to you, did I, David?
No, fucker.
I gotta tell you, my Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers cookies, pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty good.
Wait, here you go.
I think you sent them to me. I'll have to put them on Instagram.
Oh, dude,
put it on the gram.
Yeah.
And my Night King. Those were supposed to be they were skulls and then the ghost. I flipped the ghost upside down. Sammy was like, had a great idea, like do the Night King with these like edible paint pens. Those were fun as heck.
That's cool. All right, so Army of Darkness, the sequel to Evil Dead 2, amazing movie, barely qualifies as a movie at 81 minutes. 81 minutes long. Movie is short, super short, and I remember seeing this in the theater, and there were about 3 other people in the theater. I think I saw it with my sister, my older sister, and it was in early '93. So this was even before I met Jamie, maybe just like a week or two before I started going out with Jamie. But yeah, I was so psyched for this movie. It after seeing Evil Dead 2 and watching it 100 times on VHS, renting it, buying it. I saw in Fangoria, which was, gospel back in the day. If you want to know about horror movies, you would read Fangoria, that they were making Medieval Dead, and it was supposed to come out, and I was like, holy shit. And it was 1991. I remember seeing it because it was like, I think it was just graduated or just get out of high school, and remember seeing that. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait till this movie comes out. And it didn't come out until 93. So yeah. Neil, when did you first watch it?
That was right about the time I was getting done in Texas. So maybe I didn't see it with you. So I don't think I'm pretty sure I saw it in the movie theater, but I know I didn't see it with you and your sister. Because I was back around Farmington about the time you started dating Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how about you, David? When did you see this?
You introduced this whole series to me, Eric. So you brought it over on VHS and said, "You guys have to watch this," like you used to back in the day.
That's probably true.
yeah. Or else I wouldn't. We were what you said, 93, right? Is that when it came out? Yeah, I was in 7th grade. So then you didn't know about it, right? So you made us watch Evil Dead 2, and then you brought them all over, and you introduced me to this shit, and I love it.
For some reason, I have a distinct memory of watching Pet Sematary 2, which was fucking awful, sitting in your living room on the couch watching that with you and your brother were sitting down there and watching it with Jamie and I, and your dad was sitting in his chair wondering, what the hell are you guys watching? I just have a distinct memory of that. Him drinking a Coors Light with his legs crossed, and then scowling at the TV while we all watch this shitty movie.
But I want to say that, and you guys' discussion that you had about the video stores in the episode of Evil Dead 2, mm-hmm. And I do listen to the show when I'm not on it. I listen, assholes. Brought back a lot of memories of that. And so you talking about this now paints the picture of like we had the carpet in the house. We had like the kind of old couches, the house, dad smoking cigarettes in the house, all that, like painted pictures of going to the video store and coming back with that and him smoking a cigarette and being like, what the hell are you guys watching now? And but when you described the wood paneling on the walls, the posters that you remember sitting up high, this poster was there. One of those that I always thought of But you guys talking about the posters really brought back a lot of memories of video stores, and I miss it.
And I really think that's probably one of the best kind of like memories I have of being, a teenager all the way through, like, working at Hastings is just the thrill of it, just the thrill of finding a crappy movie or finding a good movie amongst the crappy movies, and then having a good time and Neil sitting in my living room watching it on the big back projector TV, eating 7-Eleven popcorn and drinking Coke.
Yep. That's Tubi though. That's what Tubi is now. It's a shame that we live. It's a shame that we live so far apart, because this would actually be a pretty solid night. We come over, a bunch of old guys eating food that's not good for us, and like cruising through Tubi to find something that isn't complete garbage.
Oh,
yes, yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's just really what it brings you together. Where we just, I remember watching so many shitty horror movies in my house with Neil. And just watching all the Friday the 13th and watching the NBA playoffs when the Bulls are playing, watching boxing pay-per-views, and just gathering in my living room and just.
It was hard to watch boxing pay-per-views though with your mom around, man. Your mom very vocal,
yes,
very vocal in disturbing ways too, about watching the large glistening men strike each other.
It was like watching track and field with her. She was very vocal as well.
Oh, God. I can still hear her voice with that one thing she used to always say every time I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. All right. Hit us with the Internet Movie Database tagline here.
When Ash Williams is accidentally transported to 1300 AD, he must retrieve the Necronomicon and battle an army of the dead in order to return home.
Yeah, decent. That's, an okay Internet Movie Database tagline.
Sums it up.
Directed by Sam Raimi. Sorry, David, go ahead.
I said it sums it up. Yeah. Simple.
Directed by Sam Raimi, written by Sam Raimi and his brother Ivan Raimi, who is a doctor. They just sat down and wrote this because some of the writers from the original Evil Dead 2 were working on that movie, The Rookie, with Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen. I barely remember that one at all. It was released on February 19th of 1993. And I will say, Jamie and I, first date was February 24th, 1993. So just 5 days, 5 days before you met.
That month in 1993 changed your life.
It did. It changed my life, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it was filmed in 1991, but held up due to a dispute between Dino De Laurentiis and Universal Pictures, and it's all about Hannibal Lecter, where Dino De Laurentiis produced Manhunter, the Michael Mann movie with Hannibal Lecter was in that movie, but it didn't do very well. So he basically gave Hannibal Lecter, the character, away for free for the Silence of the Lambs because he didn't really think it was going to be a big deal. So he just kind of like did a word on his word. Oh yeah, you can use the character.
That's a shame though. Like the Miami Vice Hannibal Lecter was really good.
Yeah, it was. We got to do Manhunter someday. Brian Cox.
Brian Cox was fantastic.
Yeah, we'll put that on the short list because that is a really, really good movie. Manhunter is. So De Laurentiis said, well, you have the rights to the character. We want to use, Hannibal Lecter. And they basically used Army of Darkness as a bargaining chip to get him to say yes. And they kept delaying the editing and wouldn't put any more money in post-production until he finally said yes. But then the Hannibal sequel didn't come out until 2001. So it basically held it up for nothing and ruined Army of Darkness's box office chances, even though it did make a profit, budget of $11 million, box office of 21, but it just never really got the release it deserved from Universal, which is studio politics is such bullshit. There's so many things that happen that you see a movie, you want it to come out, and then it gets put in turnaround, or it just gets shelved, and it never comes to the light of day. March of the Dead music is by Danny Elfman, which is pretty awesome. Yes, David?
Hey, I just want to say that the last time I had surgery, that 90 whatever, was I read Hannibal. I read the book. Super excited to watch it. And so the studios can suck a fat one because that movie sucked, and I was so excited to watch that movie after I read that book, and I was just mad. So that makes me even hate him now even more.
The only thing that I thought was cool was Gary Oldman playing that guy who got eaten by the pigs, but his face is all, his face is all jacked up and stuff. That was, that's the only thing I really remember about it. So we watched the studio version, which runs 81 minutes. There's an international version that has 88 minutes long, and then a director's cut, which is 96 minutes. I prefer the studio version because that's the one that I think has the best ending, and the one I'm used to seeing. So when I see, like, they have a TV cut, which they add, some extra minutes in, and it's just kind of doesn't really make sense. They just add a little bit of exposition and not really much action and stuff like that. So I feel the leaner, meaner 81-minute version is the one that I prefer, and it has the supermarket ending, the S-Mart ending versus the medieval ending. Have you guys seen the original ending?
Yeah,
where he they give him the wizard guy gives him like these things to, like a potion to drink, and he has to drop a certain amount of numbers of drops into his mouth and then say the magic words. But something distracts him.
Nicto. Yeah, that was hilarious.
But he forgets it, and he puts too many drops in, and he winds up waking up in like an apocalypse, post-apocalyptic. He's got a really long beard, and and he sees that he's in this post-apocalyptic time, and he just it just ends that way. So it's kind of a bummer ending where the S-Mart ending is more true to his character, I think, with the Deadites flying around and that kind of stuff like that. I think that suits him better, or that's the one I like more. So, and so many characters, in my opinion, kind of like have built on Ash's dumb confidence character, or like video games and stuff like that. There's that kind of dumbass confidence that he has, but nobody does it like Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell can take it over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
So quick. It's like a fine wine with him.
It really is.
As we were watching it, Sammy was like, some of this would be absolutely horrible if he wasn't an attractive man.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's just such a dick at times, and he's a coward. He's kind of a dick, but then he rises to the occasion because he has to. But he's still just this guy who, is overconfident, but doesn't really have much to back it up. Even though he's good fighting he's good fighting demons. That's something he's good at. Just like Kurt Russell's character in Big Trouble in Little China is kind of the same way. He doesn't realize that he's not the main character in his own movie. Jack Burton. That's
who? Jack Burton.
Jack Burton. Yeah. Sort of the same vein between both of those characters. Cast, of course, you got Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams and Evil Ash, and Beth Davids as Sheila, and a bunch of other actors that I haven't really seen much other things, except for you get a Bridget Fonda cameo. They really upgraded Linda in the movie from Evil Dead 2 to this. What are you doing there, Neil? So Bill Moseley is a Deadite captain, and Patricia Tallman is the possessed witch. They're, of course, in the Night of the Living Dead remake, and Bill Moseley is in all the Rob Zombie movies as part of the Firefly family, and Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw 2. Want to hit us with a critical consensus?
Yeah, I was just going through, I recognize these faces, but the names mean absolutely nothing to me. Mm-hmm. On Rotten Tomatoes, 68% based on 87 reviews, and that's an average of 6.6 of 10. And the site's critical consensus reads, "Some of the evil magic is gone as this trilogy What? I did not read this, and this is shocking to me. As this dispenses with most of the scares, but Bruce Campbell's hammy charm and Sam Raimi's homage to classic visual effects make for a fun enough adventure." So sad. On Metacritic, the film holds a weighted average score of 59 of 100, based on 32 critics indicating mixed or average reviews because average people reviewed it. Roger Ebert gave the film 2 out of 4 stars and wrote, "The movie isn't as funny or as entertaining as Evil Dead 2. However, maybe because the comic approach seems recycled." It was later said that a random person on the street told Roger Ebert to go fuck himself. In her review for the New York Times, Janet Maslin wrote that Mr. Campbell's manly, mock-heroic posture, I know, fucking let's leave it to her, mock-heroic posturing is perfectly in keeping with the director's droll outlook. Desson Howe, in his review for the Washington Post, praised the film's style. Bill Pope's cinematography is gymnastic and appropriately frenetic. The visual and makeup effects from artist technicians William Mesa, Tony Gardner, and others are incredibly imaginative. However, Entertainment Weekly gave the film a C+ rating and wrote, "This spoofy cast of Thousand looks a little too much like a crew of bland Hollywood extras. By the time Army of Darkness turns into a retread of Jason and the Argonauts, featuring an army of fighting skeletons, the film has fallen into a ditch between parody and spectacle." That's it, because that's what it was supposed to be. Stupid ass.
Hell yeah. I love an army of skeletons, whether they're stop motion or they look like they just came from Home Depot or just, those skeletons. I love it. I absolutely positively love the skeleton army. I think is fucking amazing.
Rarely when we watch a horror movie that you pick, does my wife enjoy it. And we both sat down and enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And especially, I was telling her, I'm like, I love all the practical effects. I love the masks. The masks look like every mask that you saw at the store as a kid that you wish you had the money to get.
Heck yeah.
But couldn't afford. And I was talking, I love the practical effects. It's just a fucking skeleton on a stick. And there's a guy just out of, motion, just hopping the thing up and down. But it still looks pretty cool. And then my wife even brought up, she goes, yeah, it looks like the other stop motion skeletons. I'm like, yeah, Jason the Argonauts, Harryhausen.
Hell yes.
Why
it took 100% homage to those?
Yeah. Why not go back to something that is that cool? Let's get dorky about it. It's almost like a love letter to those types of films.
Absolutely.
And just the total camp. And I told you in text that this movie is like the Three Stooges meets a horror film, and it combined perfectly. Nobody
yes.
other than Bruce Campbell would be able to pull that off. I can't think of another actor that's been in horror movies or even stuff like this. Because like Elvira, it's 100% comedy. It's no horror. But with him, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. So your name did not get cursed this week. So that's a plus.
Yay. The thing that's funny is or like the homage to Jason and the Argonauts when they throw the Hydra's teeth into the ground and the skeletons come up. If you look at the design of the skeletons, they don't have like regular human skeletons. They have like these furrowed brows,
Yes.
They look a little, and then they did that exactly with the skeletons in this movie. They just created a Harryhausen looking skeleton. And I do love it when it's puppets, it's stop motion, it's practical, it's masks, it's that thing is awesome. I would love to just have a skeleton puppet and run it at the screen. We got to get the hell out of here,
I love the sassy skeleton when they are knocking down the castle door and they've got it looks like Barney Rubble's, like when he got his race car, it looked like Barney Rubble's race car going at it. And when they finally busted in, they had the sassy skeleton that just kind of did this back and forth with its shoulders, hauling ass into the castle. So great.
Yeah, and just there's like skeletons that did little things that, the one, he just opens his mouth and he's all, and one who's realizing he's about to get hit, and he's like, oh, they just have so many gags just to make it funny. And I think when I first saw this movie, the tonal difference between Evil Dead 2 and this kind of shocked me. I'm like, oh, it's not going to be just straight up scary. But the more I watched it, the more I loved it. I'm like, well, I love the way they're going with this too. There was some scary, there was some pure Evil Dead moments, but it was just something different. And they got Ash out of the cabin and interacting with people and seeing what a dickie is.
My favorite line is when he's eating the grapes and she comes up and she's like, my lord, or so he goes, first you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me, blow, and he burps.
That was the question that was in my house. Did he just say blow? I'm like, yeah, he just said that.
That's been always it's my favorite one probably. No, I said
of course they start
there's
off.
so many one-liners.
I know they have a recap in this, but I like the recap in this movie because they do the they show the S Mart and him going to the cabin with Linda, and Linda's now Bridget Fonda, and they just kind of like speed it up, and of course the Necronomicon, and I like the title. It's not Ash versus the Army of the Darkness. It's Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness is the title in the movie.
I just feel a certain kinship because right after high school, when I moved down to Texas to go to school for a little bit, I had a job at Kmart, and I just felt in my bones after seeing like where he worked and what it looked like. But that I worked in sporting goods, man, and that speech he gave about like, all right, you primitive screwheads, this is my boomstick. Sweet Baby was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it retails for about $109.95. It's got a walnut stock. He just goes on, and like it had a very gut connection with me. Like cobalt blue steel and a hair trigger. That really kind of describes Dave, actually.
Minus the blue steel, just the hair trigger.
Well, you got a little steel on your shoulder, man. I saw you showed us the.
Oh yeah, yep. Oh yeah, I forgot I sent you guys the picture of the staples.
But there's just so many funny thes that happen that I like when the medieval soldiers are like trying to fight the car. They're stabbing the old Oldsmobile. It just shows how how strange it is to them, and I love it when they're taking Ash to the pit, and the little kids are like hitting him. It looks like the kids are hitting him hard. They're like poking him in the stomach and hitting him on the back and stuff like that. And you know that Sam Raimi is like, hit him for real.
hit him a bit.
Because he loves to torture Bruce Campbell. That's just what he does. And
that gave us another one of the good lines. It's like, well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things: Jack and shit, and Jack left town.
I love the geyser of blood from the first victim in the pit.
That was so ridiculous. It was great.
I know, it just shot straight up. It's so awesome. I love the arrow cam, just the creative camera work when the guy's running away and Arthur takes his crossbow and shoots him. It's just everything is just so sped up and funny. I think Bruce Campbell got hurt because Aunt Beth Davids threw a potato at him instead of a rock, or to take place of a rock, but it actually really really hurt him. I think it's in the trivia somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was it? I sent it to you earlier because Sammy was looking up trivia. What was the name of the Japanese version?
Captain Supermarket.
Captain Supermarket. So great. So great.
I could just picture. I would love to see a Japanese Evil Dead, Army of Darkness poster. How that looks as Captain Supermarket. That'd be hilarious. Just when he gets thrown in the pit, the pit witch is pretty cool, and he gets his chainsaw back, and the belt thing always made me laugh because that's one strong belt when he just tosses it up to the chain and it holds up.
How did he learn all this? Silly. He went from being in the cabin to like in one night he got transported. And now all of a sudden he's doing roundhouse kicks and swinging from a belt. Like you go from, but I love it, right? It makes no sense.
I totally buy it, though. I totally buy it. I mean, of course, there's Lord Henry, the rival people. Oh, I feel like we're going to see a Japanese Evil Army of Darkness poster.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's funny. There's like soup cans and one says Bruce Campbell on it. That's pretty cool. I do really like one of the DVD releases, and this movie has had a ton of VHS and DVD releases and Blu-ray and in 4K and all that kind of stuff like that, where there's one that's almost like a Frazetta kind of style poster where he's super, super buff and he's got the chainsaw in the air. That one was the more popular, poster for a long, long time for some of the VHS and DVDs. And this is one of those movies that I will buy in whatever format it comes out. I had the VHS, I had the normal DVD, then I had the Anchor Bay DVD, then I had the Blu-ray, and you just one of those, just like Halloween. I just, whatever format it comes out, whatever the new format is, I wind up getting just because I love this movie so much. But I think that they're aware of it and they release it all the time, knowing that dupes like me are going to buy it. And I, just I don't know. How many versions of Army of Darkness can you have?
You have to realize you have a problem before you can actually deal with it.
Yeah, that's why I have only bought the deluxe Shout Factory Blu-ray and haven't bought it any other since then. Because Shout Factory puts out good stuff.
All right, then. My head's rolling with quotes. It's very hard to concentrate. That's just pillow talk, baby. So good.
Yeah.
Like, yo, she bitch.
Yeah. Yo, she bitch is so funny because Arthur takes him into the castle and they're trying to figure out a way for him to get back or to get the Necronomicon. That is my favorite Deadite witch. The one where, you shall die, and then it's a trick. Get an axe. Just the way she floated in the air and kind of moved around. And I love the way they always put their hands out in a kind of a weird way and just float and scream and stuff. Just so funny.
Was it?
Beth Davids had a weird scream. She had a very kind of I noticed it a couple of times. It's like, she's very shrill.
Maybe it's a South African thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
God, what was the other great quote? He's calling him like goody two shoes, and he goes, good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun. Boom.
Yes. Little goody two shoes.
Yeah. We used to do, joke around about the sword boy scene where he says sword boy. Talking, the guy runs up and he holds the sword and then he pushes him off with his foot. Remember that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you froze for a second. That was weird. Did he freeze for you? He froze
for me too.
Oh,
yeah,
can you hear me now?
Yeah. But I know what you're talking about. So boy, and
yeah. So we used to do that on the hand crew when we ran our chainsaws, but we used to say Sawyer, and then you'd go running up with the chainsaw and it's in a sheath and you'd kneel down and then the person would like grab the saw and push the other guy off. But it was like, we obviously weren't doing that in an emergency situation. But
I love just because you never know who's listening. That's a good save, David.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But we used to have a lot of fun with that. And then when you're putting your sheath back on your saw after running it, you're like sword boy, and your swamper would get down and hold it. We had fun with it just because he was also a fan of Army of Darkness, and that was one of our favorite things to do was say sword boy.
I think my second favorite thing now is that when your video freezes, that it's just you in these awkward one-armed poses because you get that big contraption stuck on your shoulder, and it's just it's the best.
I did notice he has a 2-shot shotgun and he used it six shots during that one scene.
They did show him like rapidly reloading one time. Like we're supposed to believe like that is now his superpower, that he can breach that thing. It's a side by side. He can pop in 2 shells, boom, and then fire it off again, and then boom, and fire it off again.
Uh-huh. I did love the building and hand montage. They're really good at that. I love the mechanical hand. I thought it was a cool addition to the movie.
He's like, you're not going to make me carry around that fucking chainsaw the whole movie again, are you? I don't know. Maybe we might want to.
Well, K&B Effects did a lot of the effects for this movie, and of course, we love them from so many things that they've done. But Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger, they have done a lot of cool stuff. I did like when he's running around on the horse. You're like, this looks suspiciously like California.
Oh, I was expecting to see the Gorn and Captain Kirk fighting at any point.
Yeah, because it's the same canyon that they used for all those different TV shows. Yeah.
Yeah. I will be merciful and quick. Just the Gorn would have fucked up Ash. That's all there is to it. Mm-hmm. He would not have had time to try to make some gunpowder.
The Klaatu Verata Nikto, the evil cam is good in this one. the mini ashes always just totally make me laugh, and it's done so well because he breaks the mirror and they all come out, and it's just fun as hell. It's got the whole Gulliver's Travels kind of thing when he's all pinned down, and I love when he gets up after the other mini ash goes in his mouth, but there's this one little mini ash that goes crazy. He's like, ah, and they have to pull him away. It's just a detail that just cracks me up so much.
Yeah, a little hot chocolate for you.
Yeah, it's just they have the same cross shot from all the other Evil Dead movies where he's got the cross and he's putting it in a weird angle. It's a good one.
Yeah,
this movie used to be on Sci-Fi Channel a lot, and I think a lot of people became fans of the movie because it was on Sci-Fi so much. Sci-Fi and USA Network.
Can we just? I know we're talking about the movie. We're going to do our bits. But I just want to show like my sheer appreciation for the special effects makeup and the masks, because the Deadite that grabs and is flying away at the and at the end battle, amazing. But when he is looking for the Necronomicon, and there are those the two books, and he gets pulled in when he comes back out, that face that they design, those practical faces. So good. So good. Just ridiculous and stupid, but still it looked like, really looked like someone had just yanked his face down and it just deformed. Amazing.
It's shaken and it's just a little bit better, then finally
finally snaps back.
Finally snaps back, yeah. And the one book that bites his hand and goes flying and stuff like that. It's just, this movie is just so damn fun. So short. I mean, there's really no part of the movie that they take time to sit down and talk about anything. It's just one action scene, one crazy scene after another. It just propels, there's really no downtime at all in this movie. You just keep moving.
I don't want your bullshit. Just send me back to my own time. Pronto, chop, chop. Just a piece of film.
The skill, you're talking about the Three Stooges, all the skeleton hands that were coming out of the ground, and of course, they pull his tongue, and then he's just so stupid.
Yeah, that too. I love. No one is going to see what you just did. Eric just went through all the classic hand motions of the Three Stooges defense from the eye poke and
exactly, the eye poke defense from the Three Stooges.
So stupid. It's so funny though.
If you don't,
it still laughs like when he does that, and he's like, "Hi," he's poking, and then they come for the
they go around the side.
Like, how much fun would you have filming that? Literally, like if your buddy was filming, like Eric, like if Eric's trying to get me to, hey, remember our stupid Spider-Man movie we made years ago, Eric? Yeah. Or the one where Jamie stabs me and I pee my pants.
Yes. Yeah, I still have those on DVD somewhere where back in David's amateur movie days, we would just spend, I had a small little, HD, not HD, it's even I can't remember what was the format back in the day.
Oh yeah,
H video camera, and we would just fucking spend a day just doing stupid stuff. One was like it's called "Who Gets a Hand Job" from Mary Jane, and David's dressed in a Spider-Man outfit, and this is at the Animus 4 when the Animus 4 is about to close there. He was in charge of closing or whatever. Maybe we just visited. I don't know, but you're like basically sexually harassing Mary Jane, and then her boyfriend beats you up. It's so stupid, but we spent time making that, and we did another one. Was it like a strange turn of events or something? I can't. But you're stalking Jamie, and Jamie stabs you, and we just film you like peeing your pants. It's just so dumb. But that's what these movies would make us do. We would just go like, hey, let's go screw around and make our own movie. And just be idiots.
Yeah. So it just makes me think about how much fun they had doing this, and how much, just that scene right there, like, hey, we're going to do this. And like people off camera with bone fingers, like kind of like AC's doing it, it's fun.
One thing that always makes me laugh, and I wonder what they're hell going to do with these naked girls when they're like, we got plans for you, girly girl. And they're like, these two like naked girls are like being led away by the skeletons. You're like, what are the skeletons? I mean, they're skeletons.
Well, I think it comes down to what Ash had to say at the graveyard. To say, keep your damn filthy bones out of my mouth.
It always makes me laugh. The skeleton band was just hilarious, and blowing flutes and drums and all that kind of stuff. They just threw everything at the wall when it came to the skeleton army. It was
Just to see
fun.
what would stick.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. And like you said about the masks, when you could tell it's a person, and they had the mask on, but they had like the black netting over the eyes, so you couldn't see the eyes of the person inside it. On those close-up shots, but then some of the shots they would do like zooms, and you would see a person that just had a skeleton mask on, but you could see their eyes underneath it. It's just too funny. I love that when at the end when they're about to win, and that skeleton's like, "Let's get the hell out of here!" And it's a skeleton on a stick, and they run him out. Too damn funny.
Loving it.
Yeah, it's such a good homage, like Neil said earlier, to all that kind of stuff we grew up on, and all the stupid, crazy things that we used to watch. It's just all kind of pushed together. All of the kind of those influences out there. I love the part when they have the explosive arrows, and Ash is like, "Wait," and all the fuses are like getting so close.
Yeah. All the nervousness. They did not have the poise of the elven archers from the Lord of the Rings movies.
I like the Bruce Campbell probably had to practice a lot in order to do like the it's kind of like if you watch Aliens and Terminator 2, where James Cameron would have a back projection, like they would film stuff and they would project it on a screen, and then they would act in front of it. So it looked good, and then there was times where he's doing the choreography against a skeleton that would be animated in later. That was pretty cool. I just love that kind of stuff. And of course, the swashbuckling at the end, and the skeleton evil Ash. This movie's just fucking awesome. I watch it all the time. I watch it over and over again.
Everybody's just kind of sitting around nodding, like, "Yes, this was great."
It was pretty awesome.
Trying to avoid the Chris Farley moments.
Remember that? Remember that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. Remember that? That was awesome.
I do love the end when they're back at S-Mart, and she's boring everybody with his stories about how he his adventures and stuff, and that when the Deadite shows up and she's bouncing off the trampolines and he's just blasting her with the gun and stuff, it's just looking amazing. And it was a long, long time before Ash versus the Evil Dead came out on Stars. It was like, probably 15, 20 years, I think, in between that stuff. So it was a long time.
I kind of want to start it now after this episode.
It is on Netflix, and it is super funny. And it is just, it was pretty good. I only ever watched the first season. I think there are 3 seasons, but the first season was super, super funny, and I never really got to catch more of it. I need to. But it's worth catching if you like this movie a lot. Same spirit, just done in hour increments. But
I only ever caught bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Now that we're finished talking about Army of Darkness, are you guys ready for Turkey Month? To dive down into the depths of cinema and lose more listeners that we keep losing.
Hey, thank you everybody for coming back after the Lucio Fulci movies, and we'd like you to leave again if you just find your way out. It's a little bit late. No one needs you here.
Well, I actually,
we take
more mainstreams. Oh, sorry,
Matt. Don't we take like 2 weeks off at some point towards? I mean, I know I take about 3 weeks off every month from this fucking show, but I know that like towards the end of the year, you guys take 2 weeks off. Is this where the listeners take 2 months off? Is once they hit November?
I think so. Yes. But out of the movies, I'm doing more mainstream bombs this year for Turkey Month. No obscure Australian movies like Turkey Shoot. We're doing some well-known crappy movies. We're going to do what is considered one of the worst video games. We're going to do two movies that are video game movies that are really, really bad. Starting with Alone in the Dark, which is based on that zombie video game. It is considered one of the worst movies of all time. So we've got that coming up. Then we have Mac and Me at Neil's lovely wife's request. We're doing Mac and Me.
I'm just going to sit here and sing the praises of that film.
And then we are going to do Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is also pretty well known and pretty awful. And then the last movie for Turkey Month is we're going to do one of the biggest turkeys of all time in honor of Thanksgiving. We're going to do Showgirls.
Hell yeah.
And after that, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for December. If you guys have any suggestions, we'll try to do some more mainstream movies that people actually enjoy. And my wife actually asked that, like, why are you doing Turkey Month again? Why don't you do? Why don't you just do stuff that people like? I'm like, what? And ruin Turkey Month?
You know, your wife, although she has made some strange choices over the course of her life, does speak some truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my vision is to stay artistically pure.
Artistically pure. That should be our tagline. The Retro Video Store, artistically pure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As we review Showgirls.
I've probably watched that movie way more than I probably should have.
Yeah.
Why would that be, Eric?
It's a camp classic.
Yeah, that's it.
It's so bad.
I'm gonna find that GIF of Elizabeth Berkley kicking that woman and her vagina jiggling, and I'm going to flood the notes with that. You're gonna be reading through something, just boom, it's gonna pop in.
I'll make the turkey sound. So, yes,
there's another joke there that I'm not going to do until after we're done recording.
But thanks, everybody. We really appreciate all the listens this month and over the past couple of months. I think in January, we're going to try to do a publicity push. Hard to say that one. And then try to get more listeners, because we do have tried and true listeners, but I feel like we're, my fault for not promoting the the podcast. Yeah.
Well, I can't say it's how I walk around with pride and tell everybody I know. So I think this goes on all of us. Dave's got like some former convicts that had chainsaws that were on like crews and stuff that probably listen now.
And when I'm at work and we have trainees, this lady who's like the trainer, she's so nice. She's like, "Oh, and Eric has a podcast." I'm like, "Please don't tell them that."
No, you don't. They don't want to know that. They're going to look at you in a different way. This guy's supposed to be our boss. He knows things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Oh, really? What it's about? Was it about?" I'm like, "It's about old movies." Like, "Oh, really? Is anything we've heard of?" I'm like, "Probably not."
No,
it's about nothing you've heard or would want to ever watch most times.
Yeah.
Do you like Italian zombie movies?
And I think looking at the ratings, nobody does.
Yeah, The Beyond. Woo, it's terrible.
I didn't look. How many people downloaded The Beyond? Like 4?
I think we're in the mid-20s when it comes to The
Beyond. Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty pathetic. So those are some sad numbers. Very, very sad numbers. Pretty pathetic, but yeah. If you want to give us some feedback, rvspodcast222@gmail.com, and you can get a hold of us on Threads and on Facebook and on Instagram. I'll post Neil's Halloween cookies on Instagram if you guys want to see those, and if you want to have any suggestions, and we'll take those into account, and we'll go from there.
Better get the cookies up now before they get eaten.
Yeah. So, but we appreciate it. David, anything to add?
It's a great movie. It's fun. Go enjoy it.
Absolutely. Neil?
Everybody have a good week.
Yes. Have a good week. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Video Store Podcast.